Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, a 3 times weekly show looking into the exciting happenings at Ipswich Town Football Club. This is the flagship show, and on the week that Emma Hughes returned to the matchday squad, I, Mikey Pendy-Smith, am also out. I'm back in from the cold, and alongside me I have 2 experienced pros. It's the Chambers and Skews of the Blue Monday punditry world. It's Dave Diamond and the Renegade Statman. How are you, gents?
Yeah, good, Mikey. Thanks. Yeah,
I'm good. Thank you, Mikey.
Yeah. Are you going to be Skews or Chambers? You're Chambers, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm not going to be Skews.
Nah. And is Ben Marcus Evans or is he Paul Lambert?
He's not Paul Lambert. It's a bit harsh to call him Marcus Evans. I think he's probably Ian Milne.
Excellent. Okay, which brings us nicely on to this week's news, where we'll start. Obviously, we'll get on to the Rotherham game in a little bit. And I suppose there's no other place to start than what we've done in the transfer market. It's been a pretty busy week. Colin Quaner, Simon Dawkins and James Collins all came in to add to Callum Elder and Will Keane. Without going into too much detail on each player, because we'll do that after we review the game, Dave, are you pleased by what we've done this month and how quickly we've brought players in?
Yeah, I think so. It needed to be done. It needed to be done quickly. On the evidence of yesterday, well, we'll get to critique the players. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, needed to be done quickly, and yeah, pleased. Particularly with the lump of a centre half we got in later on in the week. I think that was a definite plus.
Yeah, big up for the Ginger Pele, but the jury's out on Dawkins. Not sure about him at the moment.
Do you know what? There was, I know. There was people around me saying that, but he didn't get a touch of the ball, did he? Did he get a touch? Virtually one. Okay, you had a run where he sort of ran it out into touch, but he didn't get a touch. We never had the ball second half.
David, I
felt a bit for him.
I don't think he's had the ball for a year now, has he? He hasn't played a game for over a year. So
no, he hasn't. We
will get onto that.
Do you think not? Do you think we'll get onto it? Do you think not? It was sort of smacked the desperation. Yes, he'd been training, and I think he'd lined up what he thought. He'd lined up Pilkington, hadn't he? And then obviously Pilkington went elsewhere, which you can understand, where his family live. And maybe we're sort of it was a bit of a panic, wide panic. But yeah, I think it was a bit harsh to criticise him on 15 minutes yesterday.
No, I wasn't criticising him. I was just saying that he was the wild card. I'm not
okay.
Sure. The jury's out. I didn't say he had a bad game. Yeah, okay. But he didn't have a great game.
So, okay, Stat. I've got a Twitter question for you straight away. Jack Barron wants to know your thoughts on Alan Judge, who apparently we're signing.
Would be the most exciting signing for me in the trans. Well, I don't know. Ginger Pele. He just nudge over the Ginger Pele. And in the top signing, I think he'd be great. And I think if we can give him a 2-year contract or something, forget about where we're going to be next season and just get him on board on the team. And that would be a quality signing.
He's out of contract at the end of the season, isn't he, with Brentford?
So, but I don't want any sort of 6-month contract or anything, Dave. I'd like to see him, sort of nailed down a couple of years, and we can see where the future's going.
Yeah. How long has he been back? I mean, not long, has he? Yeah, he's out virtually 2 years. He was out 2 whole years, wasn't
he? Yeah.
It was nasty. But I think he got back sort of October time. I don't think he was back for the start of this season either. So I think he was back October time. He was he? Okay, he was broken through. I know he's broken through, but he's not. I don't think he's. Whether he's been, I don't think he's been a regular. Ben will probably know. He's seen him 3 or 4 times, so I'm sure he hasn't been a regular. But it'd be a great signing experience, and was a very, very good player. Obviously, you'd think he's lost a bit, but I would
hope that he would be. Sorry, Dave. I would hope that he'd be as good as our last midfielder we signed from Brentford.
Yeah. I'd hope. Hopefully, he'd have the edge on him. I'd hope he would. But
yeah.
Oh, he's still benches. Yeah, so we meant.
Yeah, we meant Diagaraga. We didn't mean Doogie at all.
I think at this stage, I must point out that Ben is listening in on us. He's trying to feed information on Alan Judge, and then he couldn't let that one go. But I think Ben's about to disappear. We'll move on to
bloody time.
We'll move on from that one, and we'll move on to Tuesday, where another very good midfielder, Matt Holland, became the latest legend to have lunch with Paul Lambert at the training ground. And obviously there's that fantastic picture of him in his old Copa Mundials and jeans on the side of the pitch, which is obviously I think it's a smart move to hear what he has to say and let him know that his opinion matters and it's good to have him around. But arguably, the biggest piece of news this week was announced on Thursday, as we found out that Ian Milne is to step down as managing director at the end of this month. Dave, can you explain to us what this means and also give your thoughts on his reign?
Yeah, I mean, from what we understand, he was going to go at the end of the season in the summer. So I guess it's a bit, for the time being, a bit of cost cutting, maybe to a degree. Leo Neal, I think, has been appointed, and has been for some time, former academy player, has been appointed sort of like football general manager of football, or I don't know, it's football director, but something general manager of football operations manager, something like that. Milne is gone now, and I think, from what we understand, Marcus Evans is going to have a more, not day in, day out, but a day-to-day, hands-on approach. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'm not really sure, but that's the idea, I think. He's not going to be there 5 days a week, obviously. It was a difficult one. I mean, he took over from Simon Clegg, and I think originally he was doing a joint position with Jonathan Simmons, who I think was the financial director. Jonathan Simmons and the club had a part in the ways 2015, 16, something like that. So to be fair to Ian Milne, he's had that role on his own, and also to be fair to him, and I know we've seen it. He would always put himself out up there as the Marcus Evans face until the interview, back in April, whenever it was. So he did always put himself out there. I think, and I think he'd admit himself he was not a football man. So it was always going to be a difficult role for him. But wait and see. But then you read on that apparently you'd think, okay, Marcus Evans is going to take a more hands-on approach. You got Leo Neal with on the football side of it. But now reading between the lines, apparently he said he's considering appointing a new MD further down the line. So I don't think it's a post that's going to sort of disappear. That
brings me nicely on to another Twitter question for Stat. Peter Cox wants to know, do you think, with Evans talking about a more involved role, do you think he needs an advisor with football knowledge? And if so, who?
Well, there's always been talk that he's had his advisors, and there's rumours that it could be Charlie Woods. Yeah, there's rumours about other people in the game, Harry Redknapp and stuff. So if they are his advisors, he needs to get some different ones. That's all I'm going to say.
I know whenever he was at Ipswich, I don't see him sitting in the box, but pals of mine who sat around there used to say Charlie Woods was always with him in the box when he was at Ipswich. I think Charlie Woods has moved. I'm sure he's moved on now, hasn't he? I think he's whether he's even still in the game, I'm not sure, but he's certainly moved on.
He plays a lot of golf at Woodbridge, Dave, yes, I believe.
Very much so. Very, very good golfer.
And he didn't like Roy Keane. He didn't rate J Tab as a footballer. That's all I've heard.
Charlie Woods?
The golf club. Yeah.
Because J Tab, probably why? Because J Tab was a very good golfer. Perhaps he beat him.
That's how that popped. Popped up.
And also, I think that Roy Keane actually beat him with a golf club as well. So that
was Craig Bellamy, was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, Stat, would you say it's fair to say that under Marcus Evans, Ipswich have been on a downward curve?
Yes, totally.
Speaking of curve.
Nicely done.
Oh, hang on.
You can still get tickets for the Blue Monday live show, which takes place on Saturday, the 16th of February at the Curve Bar in Ipswich. This will be going ahead regardless of whether we're playing Stoke earlier that day. Details are on the pinned tweet on the Blue Monday Twitter account, and tickets are just £8. And I've got a further plug here. This Friday, the ITFC South West will be holding an evening with Ipswich legend Russell Osman at Hort's Bar. I think it's called Hort's on Broad Street in Bristol. It's just £10 a ticket, and all of the proceeds are going towards the fund for the Kevin Beattie statue. So if you're lucky enough to live down in the South West, make sure you get along. Osman is a legend of Ipswich and also pretty outspoken, so it's bound to be a fantastic evening. So the plugs are out of the way. Let's move on to the game. And it was Ipswich Town against Rotherham. And Dave, I think you were at the away game, weren't you?
No, Stat was.
I was, yeah.
Sorry,
Stat
Stat.
was.
I was there, yeah. Took my son for his first away game of the season. And and I think he realised what a long drive it was back from Rotherham after the 90th minute winner. In fact, today when I was out and about, as you do, and you have these little thoughts in your mind, I was thinking, imagine if we'd have just drawn that game. They lose 2 points, we gain a point. Suddenly our 7 is down to 4.
Someone said to me the other day, how the season it's very close and sort of knife edge, because conceivably we probably should have beaten Blackburn first game of the season. I know we got a late equaliser, but you were at Rotherham, and I remember listening to it on Radio Suffolk. We absolutely battered them first half, didn't we? I say battered them. We dominated. Maybe usually didn't create much. I think we missed 1 or 2 decent chances, didn't we?
Yeah, but I mean,
those go in. You get a win, second game of the season. You sort of the whole thing. I know we're much further, 27 games in now, but the whole dynamic changes a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first time I'd seen a Paul Hurst team, and I thought I was really excited at that point. It was disappointing to concede a late goal, but I thought, you could see how he was going to try and evolve the team. Obviously, it didn't work, but I was hopeful, and
I still think a lot of that, and the very next game in the midweek obviously was that Exeter game. And I think a lot of that a lot of this with Hurst certainly comes off the back of that Rotherham result, and then that poor performance at Exeter, And
then his subsequent post-match interview where he basically slated all of the players.
Absolutely buried them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Incidentally, the flagship show after that game was the last time us 3 were together.
Is that right?
Wow. That's a stat I like. So every Rotherham game.
Yeah. And the goal scorer that day was...
Oh, of course. Your namesake, wasn't it?
My namesake, yeah. So let's move on
Number
to this one. Obviously, we started the day in 24th place. Rotherham started in 21st. Lambert's new signings all made the squad, and the starting lineup was Dean Gerken in goal, a back 4 of Pennington moving to right back. We had Collins and Chambers in the middle with Elder at left back, and then it was Charleborough and Skews sitting in front with Sears and Quana in the wide roles, with Keane in behind Lancaster. What do you make of that lineup?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a surprise to me that he threw all the new signings out, other than obviously Dawkins, who we'll come to, but threw them all in, to be fair. I mean, I had from where I was, I had a great vantage point. I thought I had sort of Quana playing further up, perhaps than Keane, with Keane sort of playing in a slightly withdrawn role. But yeah, and you know what? Didn't really create much first part of the game, but it looked okay, I thought. Didn't you, Stat?
Yeah, I thought so. I think that the key thing about the squad, the team when he announced it, was who was going to be playing at right back, with James Collins coming in. Pennington went there.
Yeah, I mean, something else I'd say, obviously a big show of faith there in Gerken, who was obviously out for the cup game, all right, albeit with a slight injury. Bart played, and he certainly wasn't at fault for the goal, was he? Played sort of seemingly quite well, but Gerken straight back in yesterday was an interesting point.
He is the number 1 keeper now.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Still not convinced.
No, me neither. I was thinking maybe Bart did enough at Accrington and hopefully in training to get his place back. But
it's his kicking. I mean, I think as a goalkeeper, he's okay, but his kicking is woeful.
It is. Woeful. Yeah, and we're relying pretty heavily on that at the moment, playing up from the back, aren't we?
Well, this is why when you said about Quana playing wide, I mean, that would have made, to me, they were sort of crying out for that yesterday, because his kicking wasn't great, particularly second half when Quana was on, that, moved Quana out there where he was launching all the kicks over to the right-hand side when he wasn't shanking them out, when he and you think, well, surely if Quana pulls out, then we've got much more advantage there, but I don't know. Yeah, he just doesn't kick well.
But if Harry from Bath is correct on this, and he usually is, Quana doesn't win headers, and that's why he plays out wide quite often. Apparently he has a bit of a he sort of
punch his weight, doesn't punch his height.
He becomes shorter when he goes up for a header.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's a shame. Well, yeah, that's a shame. And I think you look at that and you think how much really influence John Walters could have had on the team.
Oh,
sure, definitely.
But there you go. We'll never know.
But Quana did have a bit of an early impact. He sort of forced the Rotherham keeper into a nervy moment, as it would be described. He sort of charged him down Shefki Kuchi style. Then Luke Chambers ended up in the Sir Ralph Ramsey stand.
What happened there? I said to my boy, and he didn't get up for a few seconds. He disappeared. I said, He's broken his neck. I mean, that looked horrendous. You must have had a pretty decent view of that stat. It looked horrific.
I think he was being chased by you, Mikey, as the ball was just sort of being
Mikey
run off the pitch. And I don't know if there was a little bit of a nudge. I don't think there was anything malicious in it. And he went to, like you have the little red gates that we used to use when we used to spill out and celebrate on the pitch and stuff like that. Well, he basically hit that and then flew right over the bar. And
all I could see was his feet going over from when I was. I mean, it looked horrendous.
Came up holding his wrist and had, obviously had a bit of treatment throughout the game with that. So I don't know if they've announced anything about what happened with his wrist. Heard rumors that he might have broken
his wrist. Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, or whether he broke bones or whatever, because wrist is. That's what I read.
But he soldiered on, and in the 31st minute, Ipswich Town took the lead. Dave, can you talk us through it?
I can, yeah. I'd like to say I had a little bit of influence over this goal. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, guys, in a minute. But I don't know the preamble to it. But Keane, Will, as he's known to me, likes to be called William, but everyone else calls him Will. He picks a ball up in the sort of centre of the central position, centre of the Rotherham half. And absolutely, what I like about this, and someone made a WhatsApp, it might have been you, Mike, or Joe, or someone, absolutely pinged the ball out to Sears. Great ball, clipped the ball wide to Sears, and I don't know about you. I thought Sears was poor yesterday, but this was the best thing he did all day. Chested it down. I think he squared up, brought it inside off the sort of left. He was really wide on the touchline. Brought it inside off the left. Squared up the fullback, Viner, I think. Really drove for the byline. A really good cross, powerful cross, left foot, drove it across. And initially, I say it was a bad touch, but the ball was pinged so hard across. It's probably decent that Keane got something on it anyway. Went towards goal. And I think it was Raggett near the line, sort of got a little bit on it, and it went straight back to Keane. And great for 6 yards. You wouldn't expect him to miss, but as he fell, sort of hooked the volley in powerfully in the corner. Yeah.
But you might have wanted to ask him what did he have for breakfast this morning?
Do you know what? He did not have the full English. We'll get to this in a minute. I bumped into him at breakfast Saturday morning, as you do, and having breakfast with her missus, and I said, "That's an Ipswich player." She said, "What him?" He said, and she said he looks a bit like Ben. He looks nothing like a footballer. So I said, I think he probably is.
Dave, were you in Jack's Caff when you had breakfast?
Do you know what I was?
I'll
tell you where I was. I was in Milsom's Kesgrave. Milsom's Kesgrave. The boy, my story, lads bought some vouchers there for Crimbo, and they do really good January offers, so you can stay there for a night in January and have like free dinner and breakfast. Brilliant offer. So we stayed over. I took advantage of it. Stayed Friday night, and then had my encounter with Will Keane. I've got to say, in Will's defence, I think it was purely fruit yogurt and that. Really disappointingly, no full English. Disappointingly. Having said that, I saw a picture someone posted on WhatsApp. I think it was Joe, who had a full English. I think somewhere in Tesco's the day before, and I've got to say, my full English looked nothing like that. That looked huge. But yeah, he. So no, I had a really nice guy, and what he did say, I said, "How's it going?" He said, "Yeah, trained really well." Obviously travelled up and met the guys last week, but obviously Accrington game bit before, really trained well. But what he did say is, I said, "What about James Collins?" And he said, "Mate, in training yesterday, you see his influence straight away." And he said he looked like a beast, and so be it. I think he had that nailed on.
And nice, that was guy. It's good to hear. And Stat, was it good to hear the chance of Keno bringing around Portman Road again?
A tear ran my eye. I've been, many a night I've cried myself to sleep thinking that wouldn't come back. So yeah, I shouted that out. It's good to hear. So well done, Roy on his debut. Will on his debut.
And I thought right. We'll perhaps get to it afterwards. But I thought right through the game he was pretty neat and tidy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought he played well. He played very well. Yeah.
Excellent. You've already mentioned that Sears didn't have the best of games, but he did almost score with a clever flick from a set piece just before half time.
Yeah, he just sort of hooked it over, sort of reacted to it. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he did have quite. I'd say half chance, wouldn't you?
Yeah, half chance. And I think, Dave, when you said that Freddie Sears didn't have a good game, I thought you meant to say Freddie Sears hasn't had a good month so far. That's what I meant.
Actually, of course. Okay. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, Millwall last week. Yeah. He's regressed a bit from his December form, hasn't he?
He has.
He was red hot in December, though, wasn't he?
Was. Late November.
A kind of assist in this game.
Yeah, I I heard that he signed up for January, but it wasn't about drinking. It was about not scoring goals, I think. So he's doing well. He's got to go through the whole month.
Yeah, he was. I'm sure he'll come good again.
I'm sure he will. Yeah,
he's done that as a New Year's resolution in the past, hasn't he?
What, not to score?
Yeah,
or carried it on to Easter.
Yeah,
and beyond. Yeah.
Mm.
Then Mrs. Staff, she was watching this, would say, "Oh, poor old Freddie, leave him alone." And he does work incredibly hard, but I think it's been fair to say, the last couple of games he hasn't really performed that well in front of goal.
No, no, he hasn't. I don't think he didn't really have any, other than that one. He didn't really have many chances yesterday. But yeah, not his finest game yesterday. No. But still, as you say, backtracking and still getting in challenges and stuff. So yeah, Lambert would have loved. Any manager would love that.
And up against that, you could say at least he is getting the chances now, because he could go games and games without getting near the 6-yard box, couldn't he?
Barrett, wasn't it? Yeah.
When you say games and games, do you mean 46 or?
leave poor Freddie alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
So on the stroke of half time, though, our good work was almost undone. I think Chalobah messed up and Taylor fired over from close range.
Oh yeah, good chance. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we would all been disappointed if we'd have gone in at half time at 1-1. I think.
I thought we were okay first half. I really did. Yeah. I don't think it was quite. Millwall, we played really well first half. No. Millwall terrible, but yeah, we did okay, and I thought the new players sort of all blended in pretty well. And you thought, okay, 1-0, let's take this forward.
I kind of want to go back. Obviously, we kind of skimmed over James Collins, but I think his first half performance. The one thing that he did for me was kind of settle me down when I'm watching the team play, and think actually if the ball comes to the back. He was just so comfortable, relaxed on the ball. Yeah. He's kind of like that guy when you were about 20 and you used to play five-a-side football or whatever, Dave, and he'd be about 50, and you'd always give him the ball because he was just so relaxed. And
he absolutely strolled through, and you could see, you could see his pedigree really. Certainly first half. Yeah.
I think the number one thing with Collins coming in is his experience and his aerial prowess, which obviously we've been short of all season, but
I think so.
He has played in the Premier League for a long time, and you don't play at that level anymore without being able to play out with your feet. So
and right from the get-go, he's very talkative. I know Chambers is, but you see he was taking some of that responsibility as well. Yeah.
Okay, but then the second half started, and Ipswich didn't. To put it politely, Rotherham had a couple of long shots that Gherkin pushed away properly. He didn't push them back in to danger. They were routine saves, weren't they? But they're ones that we've seen him and Bart get wrong in the past. And Michael Smith had a really good chance where he headed over.
Yes, that was a hell of a chance. Yeah. It was second half was just odd. It was just where I sit, I can't even recall us having the ball in the attacking final third, basically. I really can't. I'm sure we didn't have any corners. Someone might correct me. I'm sure we didn't get any near having a corner second half. It was a strange second half because they seemingly had a lot of the ball, but we're just pumping the ball in like straight balls and diagonal balls. I never once, which I suppose hopefully is a testament to Elder and Pennington, they never quite once got round the back, did they? And you think they'd suss that because every time they pumped the ball in, and I think the problem was yesterday, either Collins or Chambers or Pennington was winning, mostly Collins was winning the balls, but we just weren't picking up the second ball. Every second ball that was headed out, they were picking up. It was a weird second half. I mean, we were hanging on. I think that without Collins yesterday, and because he did have an influence, and he did. He said last night in the Quest show he made 19 interceptions or whatever. I think we might have lost that game yesterday.
Yeah, totally agree. I think it was kind of back to some of the performances under Mick McCarthy, where it was like back to the wall. I mean, apart from the fact that the fans were on side yesterday, that we were struggling. Corners, it frustrated me because I think we basically had all 11 men in the box and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rotherham, our cause wasn't helped by the ref. I say it every week, and he wasn't as bad as the ref a couple of weeks ago. No. But he gave them some very iffy free kicks and stuff. Yeah. They pinged a few of those in, like you say. One of them he had a near post header that just went wide. But it was just like the Alamo. I felt at times the thing what disappointed me more than anything else, as you know, Dave and Mikey, I sit in the Sir Alf Ramsey stand. So game kicks off, and I'm like, oh, kicking off the other way. So that's
second half.
A little note to make. Yeah, second half. Here we go. We're going to see some onslaught, and then I'm thinking it's down the other end again. So I couldn't see. At one point, the ball was pinging around. I have no idea what was going on. Just praying that it would bounce out. And
it was a sort of game. Although they were pumping balls in the box with Collins there and stuff, you half thought, I don't think they are going to score. Ironically, it was like a slight. I think I saw the highlights. It was like a slice Collins clearance that nearly went in. I think it deflected off Girk, and that's when it was pinging around in the box. Yeah. But really odd second half. Odd.
Do you think it was Chambers' choice to shoot towards the Sir Bobby Robson stand first? Do you think it's something we might be seeing more of? Because I've never liked it in the past, but having the Sir Bobby Robson stand behind the defence maybe gave them a little bit of extra encouragement towards the end.
Maybe. I didn't see who won the toss, but mate, it's very rare that we kick off facing the Sir Bobby Robson stand. And
come on, stat, you must have this stat.
I think that it's not the first time we did it this season. I've got it. I'm not going to pull it out of the top of my head now, but yeah, well, let's just wait until we play Sheffield Wednesday and see which way we kick off.
Do you know what? You'd think that but would they even would it get into this detail? If the opposing captain wins the toss, you'd think, right, we're going to throw them off kilter here. We're going to switch, because Ipswich always warming up. We're going to switch around,
Yeah.
Would they have that? Maybe if there was a spy.
And against that, they would possibly want to go towards their away fans in the second half as well.
Yeah.
Norwich can't do that because the away fans are next to their more rowdy fans. And I've noticed that we seem to. It's maybe because it's a midday kickoff and the sun plays more of a part, but we always seem to switch and go towards the Barclay end or whatever it's called in the first half, and then go the other way.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. No, it was very disappointing second half yesterday after hope first half. And now, we got 3 points. That's all that mattered really yesterday, how we did it. But yeah, thoroughly, on the basis of the second half, you've got to say, thoroughly unconvincing, I think you've got to say.
But yeah, I get all that, Dave. I mean, the first half was, it was chalk and cheese. But for me, what the second half showed was just that the defence, I know we're talking about Rotherham, so let's not get carried away with their away record and stuff. But there were players that, and I think Stephen Skeet mentioned it on Twitter, there were players, Collins just come in, NCR has been out of it for a while. He came back on. He came on as a sub. And these players were, throwing themselves on the line to keep a clean sheet.
Were.
And it was fantastic.
I thought did well yesterday, and I'm still not convinced he's a right back, but I thought Pennington at the back post did really well yesterday. Several occasions. There's several occasions this season where we know Spencer's been caught out of the ball watching, or there's been penalties given and one thing and another. I thought yesterday he defended certainly the back post really well all game. He's
turning in more and more each game into David Linnigan, I think.
Do you think so, Linnigan?
Yeah,
do you think so?
I thought he played really well yesterday.
Pennington. No, I did. I don't see him as a ball playing right back though. Do you? If that's what, but if that's do we want that? I don't know. But yeah, he was certainly he was solid yesterday. Very solid at the back post.
I don't want to make him a scapegoat, and I know that a lot of people already have this season. But Jordan Spence isn't really one thing or the other as a right back. So we may as well have a right back who can defend the back post.
That's a good point.
And he's also good on the ball.
I think it's a good point. And Spencer, to me, always looks quite comfortable on the ball, though. You think, and then he'll some silly mistake here and there, and you think, oh, okay. But no, I thought Pennington. I thought Pennington did well. How do you think? What about the left back stat? What do you think of him yesterday?
Yeah, I like him. Got forward. He was strong, and I think well, if you look at the back four of Pennington on loan, Collins on a short-term deal, and Elder on loan. When I saw the team, even though I was quite excited by what I thought the possible attacking aspect of the team, I was a little bit worried because I thought, well, 3/4 of them, just kind of only been here a little while.
Changes.
Yeah, and no, I thought he did well. I think Jonas is clearly going to go. He sees him ahead of Kenlock. Going back to Pennington, I don't think any supporters would argue that Pennington is a better player than Spence in the team. So we'd rather have Pennington in.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Dave, what do you make of?
Sorry, go on, Mikey.
Sorry, I was just as you asked Stat what he made of Callum Elder, and we've already spoken about James Collins, I was going to ask you about the other two, Colin Quaner and Will Keane.
Yeah, Colin Quaner, he was all right. I think it looked a bit rusty. Stat, do you agree with that? It looked a bit rusty at times. I think his touch was particularly brilliant, but he does bring a bit, whether he punches his height in the air, but he does bring a bit more physical presence. He is 6'3", he's big. And Keane, my breakfast buddy, he's just neat and tidy. He looks a good footballer, doesn't he, Stat? And I liked him playing in that bit like a Andy Carroll lookalike, isn't he? But I liked him playing in that withdrawn role. You know, he landed on the ball quite well. He's obviously, you could see he gets his head up. You know, even for the goal, he got his head up, picks his out wide. Yeah, looks a good player. I think it'll be a good addition.
He was a promising youngster when he was at Manchester United and stuff like that. And
he moved for like $1 million, didn't he? I'm sure $1 million and a bit.
United fans that I know rated him, and they said that it was injuries that saw him miss out on an opportunity.
Yeah. But no, I think it'll be a good addition. Yeah, very good.
I mean, the key thing is though that there's two things. I want to mention Trevor Chalobah's second half performance. Oh, I've written down sloppy. That was the nicest thing I could say about him. I mean, I know he set up that chance where Sears tried to square it in the middle, but I thought he just disappeared. He was anonymous for a long period of the second half. But the other thing is that I think this was the first game where it didn't include any of Paul Hurst's permanent signings in the team, which I think says a lot about those transfer deals.
And not in the 18 either.
No.
I think one of the Twitter questions touches upon that, actually.
Robert.
It was Justin, I think, who asked, who do you expect to see leave the club this window? Has yesterday made it clear that Lambert doesn't rate Hurst signings, or is it mere coincidence? Will a new team be enough to get us out of this, or are we just dead men walking?
That's a good question. Wow. I still think it's going to take a hell of a lot to get us out of this. And don't be great to get 3 points yesterday. I mean, if we hadn't got 3 points yesterday, Rotherham would have been the gap 13 to Rotherham, wouldn't it? I think that'd have been it pretty much for me. A bit of hope there, but don't get carried away on the basis of yesterday. And as for players going, well, I think his odds on. Obviously, Knudson's going to go, isn't he? Whether any of those other players will go or pay fees for, perhaps loan, I don't know. I
mean, I'm looking at the players and just quickly writing their names down. Caden Jackson. Well, he scored a few goals. I'm not convinced that he'll let him.
Looking ahead, will he be next year? Looking ahead next season, if we go, he's going to be decent, isn't he?
Yeah, Jordan Roberts. I think a few of them might go out on loan, but I think Toto Enciala, he's probably going to stay as just centre half coverage. But what about one of the keepers? Is now the time? If we got $500,000 for Bart, which is a tenth of what we could have got before, would we sell him? The talk about he's on $20,000 a week.
I mean, that's the thing. He's got to be the highest wage earner now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, of the permanent, you'd think of the permanent players. So, he's if someone comes in for him, you think to get him off the bill and get a cheaper option in as cover, then you can see it happening, can't you? And he's going to want what is Bart 32, 30. 1-2, something like that.
I think,
he's going to want to play first team football, isn't he? And he's out of the picture again. I don't know.
He'll get another chance for the season's
out. He definitely will, Mikey.
Let's just hope from our point of view it's later rather than sooner. It's last game when we're safe against Leeds. Throw him in.
Here's a question for you. So you talk about that Leeds game, and I was having a conversation with Illinois Blue on Twitter and just saying, 5th of May 2019, we beat Leeds on the last day of the season, 4-2. We stay up and Leeds miss out on automatic promotion. And then I got a tweet back saying, but what if us beating Leeds means that Norwich gets promoted? Yeah. Would we go for that?
Oh, hang on. So it's a scenario. So we beat Leeds to stay up.
Yeah.
And by beating Leeds, Norwich go up.
Yeah.
We beat Leeds to stay up all day. Norwich. We don't want to be 2 divisions away from Norwich.
No, I'm with you. As much as I hate Norwich, I love Ipswich more. So
yeah. And also Norwich going back to the Premier League, it gives us a Premier League team to follow.
Exactly.
Just whoever's playing against Norwich each week.
Yeah, every other week. Premier League team to follow. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No,
we've gone flying in here with the questions. I did have a nice, easy opening question from. Well, I don't know if it's easy, but Julian Hughes asked,
Jules,
do you have any pre-match superstitions and favourite grub before kickoff? And Dave, we know that you like to stay over at Kesgrave Hall, Milsom's, and have Eggs Benedict with Will Keane before the game. So I'm going to have to go to you, Stat.
Mrs. D had something like that, but I'm not sure what it was called. She had something like that, but no, only once. I haven't really got any pre-match rituals. Have you, Stat?
I do like. I'm a bit funny about what turnstile I go in. If I go in a turnstile and we won, then I'll go in that turnstile until we lose, and then I'll pick another one. So yesterday I went in turnstile. Yeah, I've gone in everyone, even in the wrong stand and stuff like that. So I like that. My pre-match meal is always, I've picked it up from the 1979-80 ITFC annual, and it's Paul Mariner's favourite poached egg on toast is what I like as a pre-match meal.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay.
What, just one meal?
Yeah. Just one poached egg. Ben likes to have 2 eggs on his pizza as his
that's
pre-match
wrong,
meal.
isn't it? Wrong. Yeah. And berries, stat and honey.
And twigs.
I don't know what's going on there. And no telly. What's that about?
Yeah, he's got no telly in his room, and he's on TV all the time. That bit I can't.
We came out. You looked at me. I looked at you, and he said, but simultaneously, we said, he's got no telly.
Yeah, but I think Jules, I've got to say to you, one of my pre-match routines is always trying to meet up with Jules in the fan zone, and that never actually happened. Yeah, never
Jules, one day, Jules, one day. Yeah. I suppose, I'm partial to sausage sarnie now and again, but did I have that yesterday? No, didn't have that yesterday because I had a full breakfast, obviously. Had no lunch at all.
I used to have, after football on a Saturday morning, I'd always have cheese on toast with beans on top.
Staple.
Lovely.
That was my favourite pre-match meal. And when I was really young, I used to eat at Littlewoods before the game.
Oh. When I used to play, I used to have what I used to have. I used to have spaghetti, Heinz spaghetti in a tin on toast. Yeah, when I was playing.
When I used to play, I used to have a couple of cans of Special Brew.
Yeah, of course you did.
Sunday morning, Division 10.
Love it. Okay, on to the next question. Benjamin, and I'm sorry if I'm getting this surname wrong. It looks like it could be Airy. I'll go with Benjamin Airy. Stat, what's more imperative for our upcoming games this season? A solid back four or a rejuvenated front three?
Well,
wow.
They tend to say that defences win championships, and we're not going to win the championship. So the only way that you're going to win a match is to outscore the opposition. I think Paul Lambert's actually tried to do both things, and I think James Collins is a great sign. And so let's get our forwards clicking and scoring a few goals. And I think Dave's mate Will could be the man.
Could be. Attack is the best form of defence. Stat.
Yeah. Would you fancy him going further up front? More forward than he played on Saturday?
I thought he played well in that position Saturday, but I think he could probably play further forward. But I really liked him in that position Saturday. I thought it was good. And I perhaps I overlooked this a bit. Certainly first half, Skews made a difference being back in the side, didn't he? Don't you think? First half. Yeah,
we missed a couple. We missed somebody who could put a couple of shots wayward and stuff like that. So but no, I think.
Second half the midfield was just non-existent because he just didn't have the ball because the ball was just pumped in and out and over them and pumped back in again. Just.
We always say this, and it's easy kind of to pick on Skews because he's played well over 200 matches and scored two goals. But I think it was good to have him back in the team on Saturday, and he brings that experience, and that's what we need. We do need a bit more experience when you're in the trenches. And I think
what was Skews' last game before the injury?
Forest, or was it earlier than that even? So Forest was first week of December, was it?
Yeah.
Then or before?
Mike, you don't ever put us on the spot like this.
Who did we play before Forest?
Is this part of Two Little Ducks, is it?
Yeah. West Brom, I don't know.
I've got an easy question now. I don't think he played much in
December at all, did he?
Lord Diamond, Luke Moles would like to know, will we ever concede a goal again now we have James Collins?
So we've got Blackburn away. Yes, sadly, yeah. I think we will. But don't underestimate his influence that he had yesterday. But Yeah.
I think
he's a great sign, and he is going to have a hell of an influence on the defence. But I mean, it all stands. His injury. He's 35, and even at the end yesterday, he went down all right, probably with the exhaustion and relief more than anything. But someone like James Collins, Christ, get up for God's sake! Do you know what I mean? He's going to be so important to us over the next few months.
I saw a great tweet that somebody did yesterday, which was the ITFC honours list, and it had 1962 Division 1 champions, 1978 FA Cup winners, 1981 UEFA Cup winners, 2019 James Collins. I thought that was fantastic. So I think that says a great deal. But
we are in need of a cult hero, I think.
Oh mate, I've got a couple of West Ham fans who were absolutely distraught that they let him go at the end of last season. Distraught. They said, even just for him to just still be at the club and have the influence. They absolutely couldn't believe it. But again, a wage bill, I suppose.
But with us signing the Ginger Pele, are we the first team to have two Pelés play for us? And obviously Alan Brazil as well, and
Brazil.
Yeah,
I guess we might be. Who was Parler? Was the Romford Pele, wasn't he?
Yeah.
There was a Pele that played for Southampton as well. He was.
Yeah. Who do you think would win in a race, Dave? Pele, Alan Brazil Pele, or the Ginger Pele?
In a race, Brazil was quite
now. Yeah.
So before, Brazil was quite quick, wasn't he?
He was.
Brazil was really quick.
Deceptively quick, even though with that sort of big sort of Mikey Smith sort of hair that he had as well.
He had massive hair, didn't he?
He did.
Massive hair. Yeah, player.
Stat, I've got a question for you from Nick Jackson. He hasn't actually addressed it to you, but I'm addressing it to you.
Okay.
He says, and it's almost like you've written it, is it just me, or is Lambert slightly on edge? 1 minute he's saying it's ridiculous the state that the club is in. Next minute he's sick and tired of outsider criticism of Marcus Evans.
Yeah, I mean, I picked up on that earlier in the week when I think after the Accrington game he said there's a lot of things that have happened in this club over the last few years that shouldn't, and this this great club or whatever shouldn't be in this position. And I think most people kind of took that as an aim towards the owner. And then I think it was his Thursday press conference or Friday when he said, I'm getting sick and tired of people moaning about Marcus Evans. So at least I know that Paul Lambert follows me on Twitter, which is good. I think what I would say is he's a really experienced manager, and we're not always going to like everything that he says, and you could say that about when Mick McCarthy was here. So we should listen to Paul Lambert. But I think one of the key things, and I want to pick up on it, is a point you made earlier about the fact that he's been invited some of the legends back, and he had Matt Holland back there. And one of the things that he is doing is trying to, it might be a bit over the top, but rebuild the community around Ipswich, and I think he needs to be applauded for that. So I'm still waiting for Mr. Lambert to give me an invite up, because they all go up for dinner, so it must be really nice. And I don't know about you, but when I saw Matt Holland in his boots, I thought I'd have him in midfield now, definitely.
Wouldn't you, John? He looks like he's still playing. Nothing on him. I thought he's playing weight probably.
Yeah.
Just on the subject of managers, 50 years to the day since Sir Bobby was appointed.
Unbelievable, 50 years. Can you remember, Dave? I don't know how old you were, about 29.
Oh no, no, I can't. But on the games we're planning to, on that note, we're planning to do, spoiler alert, we are planning to do a This Week in ITFC history, and Stat sent me over the games this week. We're doing like a 70s sort of feature. And I've got to say, one of the games was January 1970, and it's my very, very first game I attended. So I'm going to do a little bit on that, hopefully.
Does it involve
Can't wait.
milk crates and...
It does. There's certainly a milk crate involved, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did Portman Road look like in black and white?
So 1970, so it was, hang on, 1969, 70, 77. It was 2 seasons before they redeveloped the what is now the Cobbold stand. Yeah. So very different actually.
What was it called back then? Was it just the East Stand?
Yeah, I think it was the East Stand, and there was a bit called, they used to call it the Chicken Run, I think they used to call it. And when they built the new stand, that old stand was transported up to Vauxhall, and then it blew away in the hurricane in 1987. That literally, I think, just blew away. So yeah, it looked very, very different. Yeah.
Dave, when you say it blew away, did they actually find it or anything, or?
I assume they found it.
On Rushmere Golf Course?
It was there the evening before and then gone. Yeah, I'm sure.
Same place as the roof Brian's tea towels.
Yeah.
Okay, question for you, Dave, from Dommy Boy79. He's asked, what do you think our best 11 is? I'm not going to get you to answer that because that's a difficult one.
Yeah.
But he said, yesterday we seemed a little lacking in midfield creativity. I think Hughes would solve this, but how would you fit him in? That's what he said. I agree.
I mean, a fit Hughes, you've got to fit him in the side somehow, because not only for his presence in midfield, but he hasn't scored, I think, how many has he scored? 3, but he's a goal threat as well, isn't he? We know that. Yeah. So you'd fit in. Just quickly,
he's physical as well. He wins a lot of headers.
I know he's big. Yeah. And I'd have, and I think we'd all agree, I'd have Barton for Gherkin. But other than that, yesterday, I mean, you talk about the young players. Downs, again, what was significant yesterday, with perhaps one or two whispers has come out of the club in the last week. Dazelle wasn't on the bench.
5 million to Bournemouth.
Sorry,
5 million to Bournemouth or something. I heard
4.5, 5 to Bournemouth.
It's funny you should say that, because Harvey Davies has asked, given the strength in depth we now have in midfield, that sounds strange, following the return of Skews and Hughes, do you think it's a sensible move to loan out Dazelle until the end of the season? Clearly a massive part of our future, but needs to be playing games after such a long layoff. But
I agree. That'll be interesting to see how that develops over the next couple of weeks. I don't know. We'll see. But you'd think, where the club is now, if someone did come in with a bid of that size, I think we'd be severely tested to turn that down, don't you?
I think the best thing we can hope for is for him to go out on loan to a team. I think he'll probably be sold. Just a little point about Flynn Downs. I was not overly impressed when he came on in the second half. I know it was the kind of game that we were playing, but again, like you said, Dave, part of that anonymous midfield in the second half.
Yeah, he's just been a bit inconsistent. That first half where we're very good, I thought, was it? No, I got this right, against Millwall. He was outstanding and really good. And I think his levels generally, certainly in the early games under Lambert, he picked him every game. I think his level was pretty good, and I think Lambert clearly rates him, and I rate him as a really good young player there. But yeah, he struggled a bit. But the midfield just didn't see the ball in the second half. It was a weird game.
Yeah, but one thing we've got to mention though is the crowd. Fantastic.
Oh, brilliant.
20,000, wasn't it?
Nearly
20,893 or something, if we're going to be a pedant, something like that.
800, that's decent turnout. 800 from Rotherham, for Christ's sake. It's a decent turnout.
The thing that I like,
Fortuna fans made a difference, didn't they?
Oh, they're great.
Brilliant.
I'm not quite sure why we are. There's some link between how they played and what the size of their team in the 80s and ours, and they've kind of fallen on hard times.
They sort of picked a team that they thought matched the way they were in their golden era.
Yeah.
But they came over and they did initially go and watch other teams as well. I think they went and watched Brentford.
Well, on a scouting mission. to pick a favourite.
That is a giveaway. 100 spies. That is a giveaway.
What's the German for I have just witnessed?
There you go. I'm going to write that down. I don't know. But the thing, just going back to the crowd, the one thing I liked is when, there was a chant of "Come on, you Blues." There was some chant that was going, and I looked across at Lambert, and he was like, winding his arms up to people saying "Come on," and it was great. It was a great atmosphere. I know some people could argue, say, well, we beat Rotherham, who done terribly away all season. We had one shot on target. The second half we were under the cosh. But the crowd fully supported them. It was a huge cheer at the end, and I think. That for me was different to the McCarthy era. That Lambert definitely has got all of the fans on his side.
And I think Blue Action are making a difference as well.
Yeah,
because there's been a few groups try and build the atmosphere again in that corner of the Sir Bobby Robson stand, and it hasn't really quite worked. But this group of lads seem to, they make a few new songs, but they also sing a lot of the old ones as well.
There was a bit of Turnstile Blue. Steve Skeet was selling the new Turnstile Blue yesterday. I got that, and there's 2 or 3 pages about it there. And the guys, I can't remember the guys' names that are sort of behind it, but they're saying, they just, they get the singing going, and they won't stop. They keep going, even if no one follows them, they still keep it going until people do follow them. So, fair play to it. Really good atmosphere there yesterday.
Yeah,
really
done. Well done.
Yeah, brilliant.
James Gulk would like to know: is there now renewed optimism within the panel that will stay up? How's the result and signings
Sounds like
changed
question time, it is.
How you believe ultimately the season will end?
Well,
I mean, if I take it, Certainly, yes, the players and Collins and the influence, but based on that second I think, don't kid ourselves, we're still in a whole world of trouble, aren't we? And 2 away games coming up, Blackburn and Villa. That will be, we other than winning these home games, we have got to start picking up points and wins away, and that's going to be the acid test, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I'm a little bit more optimistic. I still think that we're going to get relegated. I mean, statistics and would point at the fact that the position that we're in and the points that we're in this time of the season, that teams haven't come out of it. But the sort of Russell Osman in me kind of wants to say, hang on a minute, lads, we can do this. And I don't think if we get relegated, I don't think we'll be 7-10 points adrift. I think if we get relegated, we'll be.
I think it'll be close. I think it could come down to that Leeds game.
Yeah, 2 or 3 points adrift, and you'll go back and you'll look at the earlier games in the season where we've threw points away.
Yeah. Yeah,
there'll be tears if it does come down to that Leeds game.
Yeah, and there will be people who will definitely sit in because it will be live on Sky. We'll stay up. If we win, Leeds won't go into the automatic. Then the Sky cameras will be there, and I now know that there'll be like 16 or 17-year-old boys who are practicing, crying in their room, just hoping at the end that they sit there and just get caught on Sky TV. There will be tears.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right, Stat, because at least, if we're still in with a shout coming down, the season will still be there. I'd still fear that we'll be down before then.
The trouble with you, Dave, you're always negative. I'm trying to lift it up.
I'm not. Okay. Ask me in a couple of weeks. I think it'll be clear after these next 2 away games. Blimey.
It might be clear by the live show on the 16th of February at the Curve Bar.
When do we play Norwich, Mikey?
Before that. The week before. The Sunday before. Yeah.
Okay.
Stat Super Franz asked, now this might be a private joke, I want to know the answer to the man bun question from Stat. He'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
Crying laugh emoji ×3.
So he asked me whether I had a man. No. He wanted to know whether Will Keane was the first player to score for Town that had a man bun.
Okay.
Was it really a man bun? I don't feel that I can comment too much on hairstyles that much nowadays. So I wonder whether it was.
I saw him up close, and it's a man bun.
Did you go into his room as well,
did.
Dave?
No, I didn't go in his room. He had it in a man bun sitting at breakfast. It was in a man bun.
So who would have
got to say he hasn't got the volume that Ben has got. I've got to say it's not as voluminous as Ben's though.
No, I can't even remember anybody playing for us with a ponytail. I mean, obviously, Ian Marshall and good to mention that he sort of right wing views on Twitter this week, which were a bit odd.
Right.
I don't know where that one came from, but yeah, he had a mullet. Danny Sonner had sort of like a floppy salon mullet.
Didn't Alan Lee used to wear like an Alice band?
He had an Alice band, yeah.
That's not a man bun, I know, but we're talking about hair.
I'd be getting there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so, Super Franz. And can we just say, Super Franz wrote a fantastic reply to some guy. Was at the Daily Mail, Dave? There was some article about Ipswich Town fans and careful what you wish for. And what I liked about it,
was it Mark Samuel, Daily Mail or Express Nike?
That was it. Yeah.
Paper. Yeah.
He wrote it so well balanced. I wish I could have written it because I would have certainly jumped onto the Mick outside. You've done really well there, Super Franz, and put across lots of good points. So thank you for that.
Eloquent.
Yes, something I'm not.
Wonderful stuff. We're nearly at the end of the questions now. Tom Beckett wants to know, Dave, with the departure of Milne, the reaction from the fans at the ground, the feeling amongst the players, is that all pointing towards Paul Lambert seeing Ipswich as a long-term proposition, even if we go down?
I hope so. I think you can't underestimate that. If the worst happens and we go down, please to God that he stays and sticks with it. Yeah, and hopefully, he can see with the players he's got in the influence he have, and perhaps hopefully the influence on the younger players coming through like Lancaster. He can see that if we do go down, we're really, really well equipped to come. To be in their challenge and to come straight back, and hopefully we'll stick with it. I think we need that. We need that continuity, Mikey, don't we? We need that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Managers Ipswich, which just doesn't happen. So we need that continuity.
Stat Sean Ant Young. This is the last question. He wants to know: do you think a lack of spying has resulted in our poor league position? Is this another oversight from Marcus Evans?
To be fair, it's another one that we can aim at Marcus Evans, that he hasn't brought in enough spies. But I don't know about you. I couldn't quite figure this out because, most clubs can spy on other teams actually playing football, going along with their scouts to watching it. And I know that no, for me, it's a storm in a teacup. He didn't break any rules.
He was on public road, wasn't he, or something? He didn't break.
He was in the bushes.
Ground.
Yeah,
in the bush.
Yeah,
I think they call it skulking, don't they?
Skulking around.
Well, what we need is just a few people to. So what we got, Blackburn. Take yourself up north and spy on Tony Mowbray's Rovers and just see. I don't.
I know somebody who would do that.
The club can appoint Ben to do that. He'd blend in, wouldn't he?
In the bushes with his long hair.
But yeah, getting back to the original point, yes, it is Marcus Evans' fault that we do not have enough spies in Ipswich.
Excellent. Let's move on to the other championship results. Leeds, the spying clearly works. They beat Derby 2-0 on Friday night. Middlesbrough won at Birmingham. Big result for them.
Ben went to that game, didn't he? And he said, I said, how was it? He said Leeds chewed them up and spat them out again. He said they were really, really good. Really good.
Waghorn didn't get on.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I don't know about you, but and it might have been the sort of effect that other teams had when we had Roy Keane's Ipswich. But, Frank Lampard's Derby, I don't want them to do very well. Yeah.
Oh.
Brentford beat Stoke City under their new manager.
Yeah, Nathan Jones. That was
Nathan Jones. Yeah, left field.
Yeah.
Well, that's out of the not frying pan. What a job he had. What job he was doing at Luton, and then obviously you think money talks there. That's a big job he's got. I think
Could be another Paul Hurst.
Well, I hope for his sake it's not, because he comes across quite a decent guy. But yeah, that's a big jump. Blimey.
Bristol City got a win over Bolton, which is good for us. I think Bolton are arguably more doomed than we are. Hull, another massive win for them. I can't see us catching them stat. 3-0 at home to Sheffield Wednesday.
They're having a Burley-like run, aren't they? An Ipswich under Burley-like run.
Even so what are they about?
98.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah. 6 straight win on this. Unbelievable.
I could not believe when I saw where they were on the table, and I thought,
4 points off playoffs.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. Preston drew 1-1 with Swansea. I don't know if Preston are within reach. Probably not. They're quite a decent side, aren't they?
I usually
the worst result for us this weekend was Reading picking up a 2-0 win over, I think it was it 9-man Nottingham Forest.
Again, Forest got Karanka went, didn't they, in the week?
Yeah. But I still think, Mikey, we've got our aim at 21st, and we're going to realise that we're going to pick up points, and the other teams are. And after Saturday, we've brought that gap down to 7 points.
I see it 3, maybe Millwall. I don't know, but I see 3 as Rotherham. It's Rotherham, Bolton, and Reading who won yesterday. But
3 from those 4, I think. I agree, Dave.
Yeah. 2 teams who certainly won't be down there are Sheffield United and QPR. Do you see who scored the winner for Sheffield United stat?
Only his 10th goal of the season, I think.
He's playing every week. 90 minutes virtually every single week. No sign of any.
And scoring, and he's found a manager who can keep him fit. Just...
Harry said it's March when he worries about David McGoldrick, but he might already have 15 goals by March.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're looking good, aren't they? And you'll get on to Norwich, but they knocked our neighbours off out of their automatic yesterday, didn't they?
The budgies off their perch, you could say. Although they picked up a great 1-1 draw, you'd have to say it's a great 1-1 draw at West Brom.
It is actually, because 83rd minute again. Someone said on Colin Murray was saying on a Quest show last night, they've been behind, so they conceded first 13 times this season. And Dean Ashton said, he said that they just can't carry on like that. They can't get over that and go up. Well, so I think he said automatically, but maybe they can. I don't know.
I think they can. How many goals have we got to be up with 5 minutes to go at Carrow Road?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Probably at least 3.
Probably, that's sometimes not enough with Norwich, is it?
Are we at Norwich? Are we just not going to celebrate our goals? So obviously we're going to score a few. We'll just wait until the final whistle before we celebrate this year.
Yeah, Christ, believe it when I see it.
Another crazy result, typical of the Championship. Wigan 3, Aston Villa 0. Joe Garner got the third from the penalty spot. Wigan are still...
Gary Roberts scored as well. See the bit of skill.
He got the assist.
Do you see the bit of skill?
Brilliant. Anthony Pilkington.
Yeah. What might have been.
He's no Dawkins though, is he?
He's no Dawkins. I mean, if you think Dawkins has been resting for the last year, so he's fit and firing. He's ready to go.
He's gonna. I reckon he'll start against Blackburn Stat and absolutely rip it up.
And you mentioned Blackburn. They lost 2-0. No, they won 2-0.
Yeah, it's great.
Late goals, weren't they? I think they were late goals for Blackburn.
Yeah, Armstrong, Alan Armstrong, he's a really good player. He scored a really good goal. Yeah, I think they left
Alan Armstrong.
I think it's Adam Armstrong. Don't say Alan.
Oh, okay.
Adam.
I thought you said Alan. Sorry.
Yeah, Adam. I said Alan. Yeah, he left. I think they left Graham on the bench yesterday. But they're going really good season. He's done well, Mowbray. They're a solid season. They got like 36, 37 points.
37 points. Yeah, they're 19 points ahead of us.
Pushing up. Yeah, they're done really well.
Do you think we'll catch them?
The first game of the season is looking good.
Do you think we'll catch it? Probably not. I think we've got more chance of catching Hull, to be fair, Stat.
I think, if we beat them on Saturday, that brings it down to 16. 16 points ahead with 18 games to go. I think it's completely doable.
Yeah. But you got to think. I mean, that Bradley Dack, what a season he's had. I know he didn't score yesterday, but they're gonna be under pressure. I'd have thought to, if not maybe not this window, but certainly in the summer, that someone is surely going to come in for him. Same at Hull with that Jared Bowen as well. You'd think.
Fans of other clubs are going to be saying the same about Emma Hughes in a few weeks.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so, mate. Yeah.
It's time for Two Little Ducks.
Oh, is it?
And
pad.
Yeah, you got a pad last time, so I've
pad, mate. Pad's here, mate. Pad's here. Come on, Mikey.
The game is, and because the Norwich tickets go on sale this week, I've picked out the last time we won at Carrow Road, which was February 2006. It was Norwich City 1, Ipswich Town 2. And as you two start scribbling down your teams, I also asked on Twitter, out of the current Ipswich squad, who would you most like to have breakfast with, and what would you have after Dave had Eggs Royale with Will Keane?
Eggs Royale, yeah.
Andy G said that he'd have an egg melody. Melody? Oh, he'd have an egg medley with Tom Adeyemi, which is obviously a nice Alan Partridge reference because we don't have enough of those in this show. Harry Butcher, straight down the line, full English with Chambo. Justin, another Alan Partridge reference. He wanted a continental with Cole Skews. He said it'd be a classy affair and he'd leave full, as Skews would clean up anything that escapes his graze. James Gulk says buckwheats at Farm Girl Cafe with Bartosz Białkowski. Sounds like a very hipster affair. Peckham Blue, another fairly hipster one. Veggie breakfast with Colin Corner. It's a good one.
That's very good.
Adam Flat says he's having a. Adam Flat is having a liquid breakfast of curry. Well, almost liquid breakfast, currywurst and a stein of alt beer with Colin Quana. Luke Moles said he'd have breakfast with James Collins and eat whatever the fuck he tells him to eat. Alistair Rattray also said James Collins, as he is the one with the fullest range of stories. He says that he'd have a full English, probably have one of those jumbo ones, and he'd try and match him up so he didn't look like a lesser man, and he'd end up making himself sick. Simon Nunn, now there's a bloke with an appetite. He said he'd have a group breakfast with Skews, Chambers and the Ginger Pele. They'd have to go somewhere that does an all-you-can-eat breakfast so the audience could enjoy their eating prowess. And he says that's the three he assumes can eat as much as he can, and they almost certainly can't. Have you got teams written down?
No, what I'm trying to think what year this is. So it's
2006, so it's Joe Royal.
2005/6.
Yeah.
I was put off by all of those wonderful meals that you were mentioning. I'd actually have breakfast with Paul Lambert, and I'd take him along to McDonald's, and we'd both have a Big Mac, and I'd let him have my gherkin. Yeah, I'd let him have my gherkin. Because I don't like them.
I'm not even going to follow that.
I'm just trying to buy us some time, Dave. I've got.
Okay, I'll start. Because he always scored against Norwich, didn't he? Danny Haynes.
Correct.
Yeah.
He did start that game.
And he did start.
Yeah.
You know who scored the other goal, Dave? I'm thinking he scored a free kick. Is that game?
Yes, I do.
Got the game.
It was a deflection. Jimmy Juan. Jimmy Juan. Yeah? No?
The Chinese. Jimmy Juan.
Jimmy Juan.
Jimmy Juan. Or was he Spanish?
Mike, you're not giving us anything. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was nodding, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I missed the nod.
Right.
Got anything, mate?
I've got four things written down, which is I have no idea. So let's go. Who's going to be the keeper in 2006? Are we talking Price?
It's that era, but it isn't Price.
No, hang on. Or
oh no, sorry, it is Price. The price is right.
Price. The price is right.
The price is right.
So we got Price at the back. So who's going to be in the middle? Remember, this is 2006 when he had some rotten players for him. Are we in the?
No,
I'll tell you what. Let me
we
go.
did have quite a classic centre-back partnership.
Fabian
Wilderness is correct, but Wilderness was right back.
I'm not saying
JDV, Dave, was he still
correct.
playing? Yeah, Jason DeVos, yeah. He would have been with
Naylor.
Yeah,
correct.
Bam, yeah. So we've got Wilderness at right back.
I mean, we've got 5.
We've got Price. Who was our left back?
The left back's a bit rogue.
Is he a loanee?
No.
No. He's a bit rogue.
It was a very young team, this. A lot of Ipswich Academy players.
Can I play... hang on.
You're going to play
Can I play a wild card? Not Harding?
No.
Okay, that's that gone then. Or Golden Goose, whatever it's called.
So he was a...
So there was a left back and a left midfielder who both of them could play either position.
This is not...
And they're both academy products.
Jamie Peters? Owen
Garvin.
Garvin. He's got to be in the midfield, hasn't he?
Garvin played in centre midfield. I think he might have been man of the match.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was.
Did Haynes come on as a sub?
No, Haynes started.
Haynes started, right. So we need...
Oh, actually, I've got that wrong, and I am sorry.
Haynes came on as a sub.
Haynes came on as a sub, but then he did get subbed himself.
Oh, I love that when
he came on.
Sub.
But he did come on very early.
Dean Bowditch.
You're playing your golden goose there, Stan?
No, I'm just saying names out loud.
Just throwing a name out there. Alan Lee. Alan Lee, Mikey.
Alan Lee is correct.
So he's a big man, little man. Not Pab.
Haynes didn't come on for a striker.
Wow.
I know. I'm going to say. I tell you, because we did we not do a game last time with Ben?
Remind me.
When me and you were on, I don't know which game we'd done, and he called him Gavin Williams. He called him Gareth.
So Gavin Williams was the one who was replaced by Danny Haynes.
How many's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
We've still
7,
we've got a left
You're
back,
missing 3,
right winger, and a forward with Alan Lee.
Williams played right midfield actually. So you're looking for a very left-sided player.
Matt Richards.
Matt Richards is correct.
So he's not the left back.
Well, no, he was playing left midfield, I think.
All right.
We got 9.
We haven't even started the Norwich team yet. I have no idea about that.
Okay, a clue.
Norwich team. I'll throw in Rob Green.
Correct.
I'll tell you who scored for Norwich. The Finnish guy.
Yeah.
Played for Rangers. Did he?
I'm not sure if he played for Rangers.
Johansson.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Johansson.
Good shout.
Which I hated because I'm going to hate it if Pookie scores as well because of my Finnish heritage.
I thought you hated it that he played for Rangers as well. That's what I thought.
No, I don't mind Rangers. Despite my grief, top.
Rob Green.
Okay, I'm going to give you clues
Go on then.
for the remaining Ipswich players. One of them manages a London club who won in the FA Cup last week.
Darren Curry.
Darren Curry.
Correct.
Yeah.
He had a good game as well. You're missing a left back for Ipswich who I think went on to play for Millwall.
Oh. No.
And you've actually said his surname already, but in a different context in this podcast when describing Freddie Sears.
He's a bit like... Wow.
Oh, Barron. Scott Barron.
Correct. So you've got Ipswich.
Spelt differently, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we still need a forward?
No. So Ipswich had Lewis Price, Fabian Wilness, Jason DeVos, Richard Naylor, Matt Richards, Gavin Williams, Jimmy Wan, Owen Garvin, Scott Barron, Darren Curry, Alan Lee, Danny Haynes came on, and Cito came on. Danny Haynes.
Norwich. I just thinking Norwich.
You've got Rob Green and you've got Jonathan Johansson.
Earnshaw.
Correct. It was his debut.
Good shout, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
I'm just...
Think of the Danny Haynes goal. It was sort of an own goal.
This is
This is the one he put in with his... Sorry, obviously he didn't. He headed it in, but...
Yeah, but it kind of
put in with his hand.
flicked up off a Norwich player. An ex-Tottenham utility man.
Ex-Tottenham utility man.
Give us another clue, Mikey.
They had a big centre midfielder who also played for Fulham.
Is that a clue?
Not really, no. They had a Northern Irish international who did some TV work on ITV Anglia. Really little guy with rosy cheeks.
Phil Mulrine?
The other one.
Paul
McVeigh.
Yeah.
Which one of those is a priest now?
Phil Mulrine.
Yeah.
Which is the one that... Which one of them? Which was the one the Norwich player who bloody a Venus free kick ended his career? Remember? He was in the wall and he defended a Venus free kick, and one of Venus Thunderbusters, and it basically broke his hand. It's a horrible thing. Broke his hand. He never played again. I thought it was one of them. Maybe it couldn't have been.
I want to say,
was that Notman?
Alex Notman. You might be right. That's a shout. Yeah, I think you got that. He didn't play in this one, did he? I think it might have been before.
No, that was about 10 years before.
I'm just bursting to say,
Craig Fleming.
Correct.
Can I say Craig Fleming? You just pulled that one.
What about, sorry, pissed on your chips. Sorry,
have I got a golden goose to go?
Yeah, go on then.
Neil Adams.
No.
Stupid game this is.
I think you've both got one guess each, and then you're out.
I'm done. I can't.
Malky Mackay.
That's incorrect.
Darren Eady.
So their back four was Fleming, Zesh Raymond. I think it was his debut.
Is he Fulham?
Doherty.
Oh, Gary Doherty.
Gary Doherty. Is he
Drury, the captain?
Which was a Tottenham utility player? Or did we
Gary Doherty. Well, he played up front as well.
Oh, that was Gary Doherty. Yeah.
Hughes, who I don't really remember. Huckabee came on for him at half time.
I was not going to mention his name.
Yeah, you could.
The ex-Fulham midfielder was a Tuhu.
Dixon.
Yeah. I should have said he played in the UEFA Cup final, but I don't know if that would have helped. Yusuf Safri. I couldn't remember. Is he Egyptian?
He's Moroccan, isn't he? I think it was Safri and we were talking about him the other week, Dave. Safri and Hassan Kashlou.
Kashlou, yeah. I think it was Coventry, yeah.
Oh, no, I think you might be thinking of Cheapo.
Oh, yeah.
Shout, yeah.
I always get him mixed up. We weren't talking about him at all, Mikey.
You've done us there. Yeah.
And then, you got the others. McVeigh, Earnshaw, Johansson.
So really Earnshaw's debut, was it?
Yeah. And he was terrible.
Surprised me.
I don't think I was. I can remember watching the game. I don't think I was there. Sure, it must have been on Sky. Yeah, usually was. Yeah. So that was the last time we won at Norwich was 13 years ago.
13 years. Lucky for some.
We will win there.
Yeah.
I am confident we will win. Yeah.
What a Ginger Pele rocket header in 90+8.
Yeah,
make it
98.
4-3 after being 3-0 up going into injury time.
Paul Lambert runs out of the dugout and
imagine?
aims his Foxtrot Oscar at the Norwich fans, which is
That
how
will
it should have
be
been.
really interesting to see the reception he gets.
Mixed, I think.
Yeah, I'd say mixed. I'd say.
What you mean mixed? What, the same as Mick McCarthy?
No,
got
I
it?
said mixed. I definitely said mixed.
Okay.
Okay, I think we'll start winding up here. You two are back this week with the history pod, or is that going to be next week?
Hopefully we haven't.
Down a stat.
Yeah.
Paul's in his court.
I will try and get some. Dave and I will
next
speak
couple of
offline.
weeks, we're going to have a
It's a
70s
goal fest,
special.
isn't it, Stat?
It is a
goal fest.
Goal fest, yeah.
Bonanza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, look out.
And Harry from Bath will preview the Blackburn game, which I believe Amy Downs is now going to. I think she's had a change of heart. So we do have eyes at that game.
Yeah.
So she'll probably be on the flagship show.
Ben was offering to buy us all a ticket, wasn't he? Was that? Did I read that?
I think he was looking to buy one.
I've ordered the minibus.
Yeah, we're all going.
Excellent. And just to finish, Stat, can you tell us about your son's decision that he made?
Oh,
yeah. But interestingly, there's a couple of people who reckons I made it up. But to be honest with you, I've got so many followers, I don't need to make stuff up to get likes. So, so my son and daughter.
Sorry,
I kind of.
Stat, your head isn't fitting in the screen.
Sure. Sorry. There you go. My son. It was my daughter who actually started my protest by not having a season ticket in 17-18 by saying I don't really want to go to the football anymore. It's pretty boring. I want to get a job. And my son very quickly piped up and said, "No, I'm not enjoying it. It's really boring." And so we all stopped. It was quite interesting because I had a conversation with a family member over. It was on Boxing Day actually, and he said, "I tried to have a chat with Finley." He said about Ipswich. He said, but he's got no interest at all. And I said, "No, really sad. I just go down with my sister-in-law." And then we were out on a walk today, and then all of a sudden he went, "Do you think they do half season tickets?" And I thought, a bit odd. I said, "Why is that?" He said, "I'd like to come along." I thought, well, you pick your moments. So I said, "Well, why is that?" He said, we're signing. This was his view, right? So he has been out of the game for 18 months, so his knowledge might be a bit. He said, but we've signed some decent players from the Premier League, got Premier League experience. He said, and I just think it'll be quite interesting between now and the end of the season. And then he went on to say, even if they get relegated, I'll get a season ticket. He said, because A, it will be cheaper, and B, we'll beat loads of teams. And I said, I'm not quite sure about the second bit. So
I'm not sure about both.
No. Well, no, that's true. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Sheffield Wednesday when he can come back and sit back by my side. So as much as I absolutely despise Mick McCarthy for sending my family away from Portman Road, to at least bring one of them back, my daughter was still like, nah, I'm not interested. But yeah, it'd be good to get him back at Sheffield Wednesday.
Brilliant.
So very pleased.
Yeah, got
great
one
news.
back. There you go.
Yeah, the attendances are creeping up one by one.
Exactly. Have you got any family members, Dave, you can bring along? Will Keane?
Well, I still go with my youngest still goes, and Jordan, my eldest, goes now and again. He went yesterday. I'll be able to say sort of promo and stuff like that. Yeah, he'll still go. If it's a spare ticket, he'll still go, yeah. But youngest will still go. And Kieran, my youngest, has said right the way along, he said, to be honest, Dad, he said, if we go down, I'm quite looking forward to it. In some ways, he said, because at least it'll be something different, and he'll see some different teams, And I sort of get where he's coming from, because he's now 20, so he's been a supporter probably going for the last 10 years, probably. What's he seen? He's seen some dross.
A lot of Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
exactly. And Sheffield Wednesday at home. I'm a bit worried, Dave. Well, actually not worried, but do you think that if we get relegated into, as my dad called it today, Division 3 South, and I had to remind him that it was League One. But do you think that we might be playing against some teams who come from a town that weren't actually around when you first started going? Was Fleetwood around 50 years ago? I don't know. We could be playing then.
Quite conceivably, Stat. Absolutely, quite conceivably, mate. Yeah. Well, obviously Milton Keynes, I'm sure, wasn't around then, was it? I don't know. Probably not.
Mikey, was it around then? You've travelled?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It certainly wasn't. No, mate. So I can sort of see where your lad's coming from, and my lad as well. Really, yeah. At least it'll be something different, other than, as you quite rightly said, Mikey, Sheffield Wednesday, Nottingham Forest. Yeah, same old, same old.
See, my dad has stopped going, my mum as well. Partly because they've got a granddaughter now.
Yeah.
But my dad started going and watching Woodbridge at Knockcarts Park, and he absolutely loves it.
Yeah, they've got good.
So he's gone a few times this season, but
Carlos Edwards scored on Saturday for Woodbridge.
Almost certainly scored 3 from left back or wherever he was playing.
Carlos, yeah, they're having a good season, I think, as well. Mine in the Prem, they're doing quite well, aren't they?
Yeah,
top 10, I think.
They are indeed.
Oh,
so yeah,
they've done a few times.
I've done well. I think I've mentioned Woodbridge Town in every podcast I've done now.
There you go.
So probably time to finish it there. Cheers, Dave.
Cheers,
Stat.
Mikey. Enjoyed that. Cheers,
Stat. Mikey. Thank you. Bye.
Be careful what you wish for.
Even better, back to Stewart. Oh, he turns to defend sweetly. Round the goalkeeper and scores a magnificent goal at the top end.